This week, the House is preparing to vote on the budget resolution, which has been endorsed by President Trump. Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries, he sent a letter to House Democrats urging them all to vote no. Former Speaker of the House, Newt Gingrich, joins me now. All right, Newt, the Democrats are united, apparently. Republicans can only lose one vote. Two Republicans have already said they plan to vote against this bill. So how do Republicans get the tax cuts through, Newt?
Well, it's going to take, I think, a real effort by President Trump following up on the extraordinary hard work of Speaker Mike Johnson. Look, when you only have a 1 or 2 vote majority, you have to really work hard for the last vote. But the principle is very simple. There are a couple of Republicans who don't realize that Trump's now president. They were used to saying no when Biden was president. They're used to finding an excuse to be against it. And that's fine if you're in the opposition. But now we're the governing party. And now they ought to find a reason to vote yes. This is a very important test of whether or not Republicans in the House and Senate are capable of being a majority and governing. And I think Mike Johnson has done an extraordinary job with a pathetically small margin. And hopefully, with President Trump's help today, they'll find, they may not get all 3 of the ones who are currently holding out, but I hope they can get 2 of the 3 and get this thing through. Remember, this is only the beginning. Then they've got to come back and have a second vote on this budget. Then, a couple months from now, they have to vote on the big reconciliation bill. Every step of the way, the House Republicans have to find a way to get together rather than a way to split apart. And that's the key to being a governing majority.
Is it possible to get any Democrat support? After all, if you vote no on extending the tax cuts, you're voting in favor of a tax increase.
Well, I personally think that President Trump should plan to spend about 10 weeks barnstorming just before the reconciliation vote. I think if there are 13 districts in which Democrats have been elected that Trump carried. There are 21 districts that Democrats hold where Trump got within 5% of winning. If he goes into those districts and has 50 or 100,000 people per district at a rally, the sheer pressure from back home. This is how Reagan won. Reagan did it from an Oval Office address, but Reagan switched 72 votes with one speech because suddenly people back home started calling in and saying, you got to vote with President Reagan. Well, if Trump goes into those districts, my prediction is you're going to see 10 or 12 or 15 Democrats vote yes on the reconciliation bill. This is a much cheaper no vote. The reconciliation bill, you're exactly right, will be a vote to have a huge tax increase. When that becomes clear, I suspect a number of Democrats will break and decide to vote with the president.
And there's a good deal of confusion over Musk's attempts to slim down the federal bureaucracy. A good deal of confusion. Will the confusion delay his cut to wasteful spending program?
Sure. Look, he's a very smart guy, and he did this at Twitter, and it worked very well for him. The big challenge for Musk is that he's an entrepreneur. He's used to doing things his way. Governing is a team sport. You have to have the Secretary of Treasury agree if you're going to be in Treasury. You have to have the Secretary of Defense agree if you're going to be in Defense. And Musk is going to have to learn, which will be very hard for him, that he's got to be a team player. He's not the president. Trump doesn't have to be a team player. Trump is the leader. But everybody under him, and Musk in a sense, is just senior staff. He's not even confirmed by the Senate. So he has to have some sense of respect that Trump has put together a very strong cabinet of very competent, powerful people, and they're not going to get run over. They will collectively take Musk on if they have to. I think most of what Elon's doing is brilliant. I think he's maybe one of the smartest entrepreneurs in modern history. I admire deeply the work he's done in the private sector. And I think on balance, DOGE is going to really teach us how sick, how corrupt, how inefficient the government's been. So it's a good idea in general. But sometimes in history, these details kill you. And so he ought to learn a lesson from this. Go slightly slower and have the whole team with you. Don't rush ahead and have the team biting you.
Yeah, we don't want to see a split between Musk and Trump at this point. Newt Gingrich, always a pleasure to have you on the show. Come back soon, please.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.